Well, here we are. The Canadian Football League season is officially complete. And not only is the season complete, so is the career of Trevor Harris. He is now a Grey Cup champion. Many suggested that if Trevor Harris did not win a Grey Cup, he might not be brought into the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame. Well, he punched that ticket apparently as well. Now, what a game. And Griff, I want to start with you. Good. David's here too. Fantastic. All right. The whole gang's here. Thank goodness.
I'm taking a bit of a break from my takeaways. I wanted to come and join you boys.
Yeah, please join us. Okay, Sean's here. We don't need to talk to him. He really doesn't care what happened tonight, so we don't have to. We don't have
I'm still keeping my breath, Frank.
we don't have to talk to him. But Griff, go on. Carry on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, just great game overall. It's just one of those things, too. I was super happy for Trevor. It's a storyline I've been following for 6 months now. Just how does he, legacy-defining season, do that? We spoke about this I don't even remember how long ago it was, yesterday afternoon, about what he can do. And you know what? When it mattered most, he went out there and did it. Obviously, Montreal was hampered a little bit, but when it mattered most, he put them into positions to make great plays. The Saskatchewan defense coming up huge with the fumble on the goal line. Malik, not to be confused with Mark Carney, making a great stand on the goal line, getting the fumble back. But the biggest takeaway for me in this whole game was the not pick six by Kabion Ito. That play happens, we have a totally different ball game. But you know what? If it's ends and buts, or if there's another famous line about, if this or that, I'm not going to use, but plays like that don't happen. Saskatchewan played, I don't want to say a perfect game, but they played a flawless football game, and they made plays when they had to. And for that reason there, our new friend Sean is on cloud nine. So I have to give it off to the Roughriders getting their 5th Grey Cup in franchise history.
Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Now that Chris told us everything we needed to know, I'll tell you what, David. Why don't you tell us the same thing? What do you think about this? I'm totally I'm taken aback because I have a lot of Rider friends, and I can't imagine how happy they are.
Yeah, I mean, look, you see the fans in the stands that are, the tears, right? Like, this is 12 years to wait for a championship is a long time. Although if you ask Hamilton, it feels a little bit worse, right? The wait when you get so close. But I mean, you look at how that game, like it was an entertaining game because it came down to the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's a CFL finish as if there was ever one, right?
Every time.
Like, Frank, how many other than last year's Grey Cup, how many Grey Cups have we seen come down within the last few years, have come down to the final place? And that's what always defines this league, is that no game can ever really be considered over. Even when you think it is, you say, if this happens, and most of the times you see that. I'm sure Sean had in that fourth quarter was on his hands, right? He was probably on his knees at one point, just saying, please, don't let this be another one that gets away, right? But I mean, you credit, it's hard, it's easy to fold in those situations when a team has all that momentum, but you got to credit Saskatchewan that they stayed as even keel as they could in those moments, and the big reason for that was the man at quarterback, as Griff said, because he had what I call the quintessential Trevor Harris game. 85% completion, hardly making mistakes, did not turn the ball over, did not take a sack. That is the Trevor Harris that we have been waiting for, to get this opportunity to go and win a Grey Cup. And that, to me, is what I think defined this game for Saskatchewan, is having that leader step up, in the moments where things are getting a little dicey, take the pressure off the rest of the team, and that's what I think Trevor Harris did.
I have to tell you, I joked with the McLeod Bethel Thompson and Trevor Harris on Facebook. I made a post suggesting, what happens if Alexander comes up lame? Does McLeod Bethel Thompson come in late in the game and win the game? How ironic would that be? Or does Trevor Harris finally do what we all know he was capable of doing? We all knew that Trevor Harris had it in him. There's no doubt in my mind that Trevor Harris is a Grey Cup champion. And tonight he just proved it. And, at 39 years old, to be here that long, and then his statement saying, I'm somewhere between retirement and hitting my glory years. I got to tell you, I've known Trevor a long time. I consider him a kind of a friend, a football friend, right? And he's always been accessible. He's always been a guy who enjoys the fact that God's given him this gift, and he lives through God. If you listen to him talk, he's very spiritual. He promotes his Christian side, and I got to tell you, he was rewarded for his patience. And I have to say, we got a guy in green in the room here, so I'm going to give Sean a chance to share his obviously heartfelt gratitude for a game that, Sean, I'm going to assume this. I don't know how right I am about this, but does it feel good not just to win a Grey Cup, but to do it in Winnipeg?
Oh, good. Good is an understatement. Feels amazing. That's unbelievable. And like you guys said, like being a Rider fan, obviously, I mean, 100 years of history, and we only have 5 Grey Cups. I mean, every one of it is special, right? So it's unbelievable. And like, yeah, you're right. Like for the history of this team, at one point I'm like, okay, what point is the Rough Riders going to Rough Riders all over themselves and find a way to lose this game? And they didn't. They came close, but they didn't. And Griff mentioned, those plays that may have made a difference. That Brett Lothar field goal that he missed. I mean, that could have made it a 2-goal score game, which could have. I mean, in the end, it didn't really matter, but
it did.
It very well could have. Yeah, it very well could have.
Yeah, well, it was an exciting game. Guys, I have to say this as well. Corey Mace has worked some magic in Saskatchewan. This team in the playoff game, he trusted his defense so much, he almost backhanded his offense. And he really believed in his defense. He knew in those playoff games that he would get in a playoff game that he would get that ball back. And in this game, we saw a defense that really took control of this game, and then the offense did their job. That's how I would define the relationship between all 3 phases of the game.
But in some ways, I can say I think Frank is he trusts Mark Mueller in making the right calls and kind of putting that trust in Mark to lead that offense and make sure the right calls are made. And again, you talk about Trevor Harris. I mean, you saw what he did. He's quintessential in giving what the defense or taking what the defense gives him, and the pass percentage is just unbelievable when you realize that it's not all just kind of these dink and dunk 5-yard passes. Like he will make that big play as well.
He did at the end. Griff.
Yeah, the other thing too with this game is just like we say, flawless execution, but it's all about the defense coming up most. Because think about it, Shea Patterson punches that ball in. It's now kind of like you're playing on your heels, you're playing back. But this game also too, like Frank, you had told me about it at halftime, and then also too, just you said it on the show. What if MBT were to come in? I mean, that idea was being flirted with. Davis Alexander had that one run, and I saw it right away where you see just the simple the way his leg went up. I'm like, oh, he like during the game we knew he was nowhere near 100%, but at that point I'm like, oh, I don't know if he's at 50% or not. So it was just one of those games too. Towards the end, even it was a lot of self-inflicted wounds and just a lot of I'll say this, it wasn't coaching malpractice, but there's been some games this year with Jason Moss where he hasn't coached a perfect game. Sometimes they won like they did against Toronto in July, but games like tonight, it hurt them more than it helped them. So that's another storyline to take away from this. Not so much of the, Davis Alexander situation with the injury, but with the overall sense of urgency, taking penalties. Even the one, David, you and I were talking about, the illegal man downfield penalty when the lineman caught the ball, where it's like, no, in that moment, you don't catch the ball, just let the ball drop, and then, you just take the down, is what it is. So that's another storyline I think we got to focus on tonight. And obviously, Saskatchewan's got, because there's a ton of storylines that come from Sask tonight.
David?
But the coaching badness from Moss is one to pay attention to.
David, to piggyback on that, last year we saw Collaros stay in the game, and a lot of people felt he shouldn't. We almost saw the same thing this year, where you've got a quarterback who's obviously lame, and once again, a head coach decides not to take the guy out.
Well, it's that, like, I had someone message me saying, if Davis Alexander's healthy, it's a totally different game.
Absolutely.
In a way, yes, it is, because there's certain things that he clearly wasn't able to do. But I look at the mistakes too. You have to adjust to your situation. The coach has an ability to change how things are going, as you said. Now, I can understand Jason Moss wants to put it in his best player's hands. Davis Alexander is undefeated. Davis Alexander has been night and day their best player, right? When he's in. I understand that he wasn't at his best. I understand he was hurt. But as a coach, you also wonder, I take him out, similar result, guess what's going to happen? Why did you take him out? Right? Now, and I think Jason
You have an answer, though, David. The answer is he couldn't run. I don't understand this. Like last year with Collaros, I don't understand why you have why dress a backup quarterback even if the guy comes up lame, you're not going to take him out.
Oh, I think it also comes down to, it wasn't just the quarterback that was becoming the problem too, because
Absolutely.
Saskatchewan on that last drive, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. That defensive line was getting through that offensive line like it was Swiss cheese. They just cut through. Like, I honestly, if Davis Alexander wasn't at quarterback, that's probably a couple of sacks there instead of first downs. Because even though he's dealing with the hamstring, he's still able to kind of maneuver himself. He's got the arm strength. Like, as good as McLeod Beth Thompson has shown to be, I also just don't know if he handles it. Will handle it.
I get it. I get it. I don't stand corrected, but we can agree to disagree. At the end of the day, the real important thing here is that their best player was out there. He trusted him, and I get that. And I also, the inference I think that you were suggesting is, you take him out today, what do you do? What are you doing to him tomorrow? Like, how does that affect him later, I think is what you were inferring. And I don't disagree with that either.
Yeah, and like, you want to go into the end of this game and say, we left it all out on the field with everyone doing what they could. And you want I think in a situation like that, if Davis Alexander feels he can't get the job done, he'll have to be the one to dictate.
Yeah, but he won't do that. Being what he is what he's shown us.
Yeah,
he's not coming. His leg could be completely come off, and he'll hop around on one leg. He still thinks he's going to do it, but that's why the team and the coach love him so much.
Exactly,
and that's why they believe in him so much that it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You're going to get the best from him completely without anything left on the table, and that's what they love about the guy. And to be honest, for those of us that have watched him play, we're left with this. I won't speak for you guys. I'm left with the feeling that this guy's going to be a really good quarterback in the Canadian Football League. Health, of course, is a concern because as he's come on, his 13th game wasn't lucky, right? This was his 13th game. This would have been his 13th in a row.
14. I think 14. It was 14. He's now 13-1.
Yeah, exactly. So So I don't know, Griff. I think this guy's a great quarterback, but there's always that hanging thing where, he has spent, while he's been playing great in the 13 in a row till today, has been within a bunch of injuries, right? We'll see if he can overcome that unfortunate early reputation that he has.
Yeah, I don't even think it has to do with that. Like the fact that obviously, yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to be a really hard pill to swallow for him that your first CFL loss comes on the league's biggest stage. But, going into next year, you have a chance to pretty much not rewrite the book. Also, while we were talking, I saw the Alouettes tweet out the score and we'll be back. And there's a bunch of stuff of like some French, some English, of like some people are happy, some people are mad, sad, general reactions. But I don't think this can hurt him. I think it's just, hey, spend the offseason, get healthy, and go into next year just being like, hey, I can still be that guy. Hey, I can still be the Davis Alexander everyone's come to expect, the Davis Alexander everybody knows me as. I think, look, we can all say the same thing about, should he even pull Chi, but this, until he had that play where he came up laboring, he was doing fine. I didn't think he had any problems with his game. It's just, do you remember yesterday when I said, hey, don't let AJ Ouellette be AJ Ouellette? Well, the Roughriders and Mark Mueller schemed up a pretty good game plan to let AJ Ouellette be AJ Ouellette, and that's one of the reasons, too, why Sean's happy. So that's all I got.
Yeah, no, it's for Montreal, you feel like this is a team that, first off, 2 Grey Cups in 3 years. They've got a quarterback that they believe and has shown to be at an elite level when he's healthy and everything. So, you in a way, you kind of the tweet kind of says itself, but Montreal probably feels, what, it sucks to lose this, but we feel all the more confident we can get back here again, right? And if that's probably the message to Davis Alexander after this one, you did what you could in this one. Let's get ourselves ready to go for the next one. That would be the message too.
Sean, how happy are you in as far as you look at this team and as a fan of the Riders and you see the way they won? I know you said there was a little bit of nervousness for a short time, but I can't remember even the team that won in 2013. They were a dominant team, the team in 2013.
Yeah, and the way I look at this is when you hear the guys speak, even before the Grey Cup, it's quite apparent this is a tight-knit group, right? And I know it's cliche, but it's a team game, right? It's not just one guy. So when you guys got everyone on the same page, I think that speaks volumes. Sorry, I'm kind of in the middle of a watch party, so I'm trying to find a quiet area.
That's okay. We can hear you fine. Don't worry.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, from top down, I mean, we've talked about it, before the Grey Cup with the depth that this team has. It's just, yeah, I don't know how to put it into words, to be honest with you.
Well, no, you can trust this organization to have done. I mean, you have the same GM that you've had for years. He's done a great job, Griff. This is an organization. I know you got to go. You got to work tomorrow. We talked about being done before 11. We'll do it a little more before 11 and give you a chance to go to bed and let everybody celebrate, including you, Sean. And we'll enjoy what's going on here. I'll give you your last word. What memory do you have of this game that you think you'll keep? The moment you'll remember about this Grey Cup that'll be the definition of why it ended the way it did.
The drop pick 6 by Kayvon Ito. I know Sean's not going to like to hear that, but think about it. What do you remember from, and I'm going to go to Super Bowl, because obviously everyone watches the game, Super Bowl 49. For as much as the Patriots won that game, what does everyone remember? Not giving it to Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line.
The dumb play to throw it.
The dumb play that ends up costing you the game. I know everyone, like Super Bowl 42, the play that won the Giants the game, or put them in the position to win the game, not even the touchdown pass, but the David Tyree helmet catch. With the Montreal one 2 years ago, you look at the a play last year I look at is the I believe it was Benji Franklin pick 6.
Yes.
This year, though, from a Saskatchewan standpoint, it's the AJ Ouellette play. I know Trevor Harris played his ass off in this game. He was awesome. But they let AJ Ouellette get 80 yards every time he gained. I felt like he was going for 7 or 8. The dumb penalty he did aside, he played really well. And as well, too, one guy we still haven't given our flowers to, MOC, Sam Amulis. Great game from him. Myers, great game. It was just a great game all through, and you saw the buy-in that these guys had from Corey Mace. You saw that for 6 months, these guys were like, hey, this is our goal, and now they get to pop bottles and drink champagne in Winnipeg and then somewhere in Saskatchewan, because I don't know where exactly in Saskatchewan Sean is. I'm sure he's going to go have a couple old styles to celebrate the night.
Well, I know a player for Saskatchewan that had an interception and picked up that fumble ball at the goal line, had a pretty good game as well. So, it was a game that, we here in Toronto, for those of us that are in Toronto and have covered the Toronto Argonauts, we saw a lot of why the Argos have won a Grey Cup. And that is, won their Grey Cups with Corey Mace as the defensive coordinator. His teams are ready to play. And as we said before this playoff game, this Grey Cup was played, we talked about the defense could make big plays. And, guys, the defense came through with making they made quite a few really big plays.
Yeah, I just want to add to Griff, he talked about team buying in, and I think you really saw that in AJ when the way he was just running tonight. I mean, he was not going to get taken down.
Nope.
That was just his mentality. He was going to put his head down, he was going to run over you, and he was going to get that first down, period.
He's like a bowling ball. How do you take a bowling ball down?
The pins are just like, no. Montreal did have a good running game too tonight, but we all knew like AJ Ouellette was a man on a mission tonight in that game. Harris was on a mission.
Yeah.
It was just, I'll be honest with you, I was shocked that when it was 25-7, I'm like, oh, this game's over. And then it was the Brett Lauther missed field goal where I was like, oh, because someone with 3 Down Nation, someone in the group chat said a message I want to read to Sean quickly if I can find it. Riders are doing their thing when the offense suddenly goes quiet on the verge of ending it and let them hang around and chip away.
Yep.
But you know what? The fact is they made the plays when they had to, whether it be Malik Carney, AJ Ouellette, Trevor Harris, they made even two on the defense as well. Jameer Thurman, another guy who I know is really earned this Grey Cup. That's the biggest takeaway. And also, too, I'm blanking on the lineman that Claire interviewed, but his name was Logan, as a Sask boy. Just the raw emotions you saw from these guys, that there was buy-in for them, there's buy-in for the city, and now you know what? 12 years later, they get to celebrate their 5th Grey Cup because this is a team in year 2 of Corey Mace. Like, Frank, we got to experience it. Year 2 of Ryan Dinwiddie.
Yep.
Saskatchewan Roughriders are Grey Cup champions.
Absolutely. Sean, thanks for being here. Griff, is always such a pleasure. I'm Candid Frank, and thanks for watching, everybody. This concludes a CFL season. This is the old logo. I prefer this logo, but that's just me. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you again. We'll be back again this week to do another show and then look at it from a wider perspective. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time. We have another one of our CFL talk shows here on Stream Punt. Thanks for watching.
We'll be right back.